Now, across Nigeria, fire outbreaks are once again in sharp focus, raging through markets, residential buildings, and commercial spaces, leaving behind deaths, injuries, and significant economic loss. Beyond the immediate devastation, these incidents raise deeper questions about building standards, electrical safety, emergency preparedness, and whether enough is being done to prevent disasters before they happen. Joining us on Newsday is Jumade Adejola, Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Surveillance Fire Limited. He's here to unpack what is driving the recent spate of fires, where critical failures often occur, and what practical, life-saving steps Nigerians, alongside regulators and institutions, must urgently prioritize. Welcome to Newsday. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Now, this is supposed to be a season of joy and celebrations, but we know that the reverse is the case for many Nigerians, especially those who have suffered one form of loss or the other due to the fire incident. What would you attribute this recurrent and incessant fire incidents in the country to?
Well, like rightly said, it's supposed to be a season of joy, but unfortunately, you could even see the firefighters were just busy working when they're supposed to be resting. And I can tell you this is a result of carelessness and then lack of proper regulation monitoring. Because if you are talking of regulations in this country, we have enough regulations to guard against all these incidents that are happening. But because we've not been having enough monitoring, especially in the side of the consultants, the government, and all the rest. Even as individuals, we're supposed to do what is necessary. Because most of the things that are happening is just mere carelessness. Nobody wants the goods that he has spent money on to just go in flames. And then when you look at most of the things that are happening now, it's like you don't even know whether people are even care about fire again or incident. The only thing we look at is Boko Haram, is about insurgents. But even the safety of life and properties, until it happens. And we've been shouting about this thing, that we don't wait for disaster to happen before we take action. So that's what we see as stakeholders in this instead.
Very good, Mr. Adejola. Now, if you remember the latest fire incident in Lagos about 2-3 days ago, I think that's on Martin Street or thereabout.
Nigeria insurance.
Yes, and you can't help but think, while coming, to work, I think sometime yesterday or the day before, that fire had been raging the previous day into the next day, and you can't help but think maybe there's some combustible material within the building itself. And it says a lot about the, when you said, monitoring, and all that, which agency is actually responsible for that to keep building standards when it comes to anti-fire processes regarding that. So what do you make of that scenario? Are we doing enough? I'm sorry. And you can't help but think even built up areas on the island, when you have buildings that are close together, and you have all these, incidents happening. Yeah.
Yes, it's very unfortunate because it's not the first time this is happening. I could remember during the time of our former governor, Fashola then, we had serious fire incident around Mandelas. And during that time, we even expected that by now they should be having a area firefighting equipment like a helicopter and a drone, which they promised at that time, but they could not get it then. Because we know the structures, we know the nature of Lagos. We know how clustered some of those buildings are. So we've been saying this. We had, they just had a fire conference just about 3 or 4 months ago by the Lagos State Fire Service. And all this thing are what we discussed about the technology, what we can use even to be fighting this fire. Then apart from fighting the fire, what I've always been telling, what we've been talking about is to prevent it before it even happens. For example, if you look at that building, fortunately, I worked in that building between the year 1991 and 1994. I was a head of treasury in one of the finance companies there, headed by one of our big organ now. So during that time, the building was standard. But unfortunately, just by early 2000, we now discovered that the building is now crowded with traders. We didn't know. Honestly speaking, I've not found out whether that building still belongs to the Great Nigeria Insurance. Because if not, then I will not blame Green Nigeria Insurance.
I'm sorry to cut in, but I was told that that's not even the first fire in
That's
that
what I'm
building.
saying. That's what I'm saying.
That's not even the first
That's
fire.
not the first. If that building belongs to them, then what are they doing? How can you give such building to traders to have cluster or warehouse in that place? You have clothing materials which are combustible. You don't even know what they even put there. Some even put all these bangers that have been banned by the police. Some have put a lot of things that that are combustibles. But even if it happens, we now have regulators like Lagos State Safety Commission. They are there always. I will give kudos to Lagos State government because they're really trying. But it's like they are overpowered with the activities in Lagos. Lagos is big, and we need to do more. Most especially, we told them that we need to have volunteers. We are fire engineers. We understand what volunteers can even do in this time of these things. If they have volunteers can even come up and then help them to check. Then another thing again, apart from the agencies, even the consultants that work on some of these buildings, they should be able to put certain things in place. For example, in that building, there's what you call the suppression systems, which are the fire suppression system, like a sprinkler system, which is even automatic anyway. That's automatic. When immediately it senses smoke, the sprinkler breaks, the water comes out. But are these things maintained? Like I was interviewing the firefighters, they are gallant fighters, I'm telling you. I was interviewing them, I said, what really happened? They say, well, they have those in there, but normally it's moribund. So who is in charge of those equipment? Those that are supposed to be checking those equipment, they are the fire services. And then Lagos State Safety Commissions.
Yeah, but let me come in there.
Yeah.
Are the people even also aware of what to do in this kind of situations? Because you see what happened in the one that happened in Abulegba, our Hills Hotel. You said it was triggered by fireworks set off by a guest. In such situations, what should even the hotel officials, what are they supposed to do? A lot of people have, even you talk about buildings that don't have fire extinguishers. There are some that even have the fire extinguishers, but the people, the residents in the building do not even know how to operate these extinguishers. And so we talk about training, letting the people know what to do in such situations.
You see, I will come in like this. When there was, when that 21-story buildings collapsed in Ikoyi, Lagos State government swung into action because as part of our own activities, as part of their consultant, most especially when it comes to fire incidents, we know that without legislations, things will not work. In a normal climb, or this climb where we are trained, what we use to solve this problem is pure legislations. In the UK, for example, you can't occupy any building without all those systems in place. You can't occupy a building without you having what they call a responsible man in place. The work of a responsible man is to ensure that those equipment are maintained. They're in working conditions. And at the same time, the owner, the responsible man is responsible to the owner of the building. For example, like the one that happened, the Afriland. You cannot tell me that if you have a responsible owner, person, he has not informed the owner that this that we have here is not working. And those are the things that the government need to look at critically now. Look, we should stop wasting people's life. You cannot be telling me that you don't know what to do. He said only when there's disaster that will not begin to move about. I'll be saying that we're under control. What are you controlling? Everything is under control. What is under control? When people have died, people have injured, people are in the hospital. I'm not saying that when there is incident, but at least let us try to even curb it a little bit. Not that we'll be moving from one place to the other, we'll be running hectare-scatter. See, if the government wants to do it, they can do it. With this new legislation, I just pray, because I was discussing with the director of fire service. I said, look, this legislation, let us begin the campaign immediately, because we should stop wasting people's life. Everything you are asking for is in this new legislation.
Including the training.
Yes, the governor has already assented to. So we are just waiting for them to now begin to train. And then you will see, we'll be coming to all the stations to talk about it, and awareness, training, and everything. Even when you don't have fire extinguisher in your house now, it's illegal. You'll be fined. When they find that you don't have fire extinguishers, you'll be fined. It's not about, because these are little, can you imagine, even some vehicles, no matter how expensive those vehicles are, people don't even believe in fire extinguishers until when it happens. Somebody was calling me that his BMW, his child just wrecked the whole thing. No insurance. So you're now crying to me. I said, what do you want me to do? You don't even have insurance. When you're buying a vehicle, even from the port to your house, you're supposed to insure it. But people don't understand the essence of all this thing they were talking. Insurance is very compulsory now in that legislation.
All right, Mr. Adejola, let me just come in again. If I may digress a little, the issue of climate conditions.
Yes.
We've seen how the weather has wreaked havoc on even developed economies like the US, forest fires, as it were.
Yeah.
So if we have an idea, drier weather and seasons like that, and these are likely to cause fires, and when we have the ingredients to enable that spark to happen, so how do we prevent that, to a large extent? It seems we're just, laid back. Yes, you could have all the trainings and everything, but if it's not backed up by enforceable, action, as it were.
You see, all these wildfire they are talking, the one that normally happen in California and other nations.
Annually.
It's, in fact, they know it's annual. Let me just digress a little bit. 2017, there was a serious fire incident in London, Grenfell building. We lost even firefighters. We lost so many, you remember it.
The claddings and
the cladding. Do you know in London I don't have cladding again? Because that's what I told you about legislation. Immediately all the fire engineers, including us, were brought together to even do a new legislation which you handed over to the government. And they look at it. But here, we've been talking about it. Even this cladding we are talking, is even now fanciful to the building. The cladding you want to use in London or even in Dubai, because it happened in Dubai too.
We have to wrap up now,
Yes.
but we must appreciate you for your
Yeah,
time. We
thank
know
you very
that
much.
Nigeria, we don't have a problem of legislation or laws. We have a
Enforcement.
problem with implementation and enforcement. And so we look forward to all that you're trying to do to ensure that we, stop all of these fire outbreaks. We've been speaking with Jumade Adejola. He is the MD CEO, Surveillance Fire Limited.